Good morning, beautiful. I hope that this finds you well rested and ready to begin your day. This is your daily tarot and oracle, your daily insight on life and love for February 9th. 9th, 2022, also being timeless. So wherever you're catching it in time, this could be really relevant. Maybe horribly relevant or irrelevant, someplace along the spectrum. This general collective don't force these to fit your life. You can always let it fall away. You can ask questions about booking a session or what services I provide, what might be right for you, time zones, availability, payment, sales, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, hey, so this is a general collective message. Again, don't force this to fit. Right now, it looks like challenges, which aren't necessarily bad, but it's like you're going to have to show people exactly who they're dealing with when they think that they're pulling one over on you, which it's not going to be pretty for them. I think that you've dealt with enough ugliness and now it's kind of your time to show them exactly what is up. And it reminds me of that funny little, it's either a GIF, whatever, or that little meme, what the F is up, Kyle? So what I'm seeing here is you being taken for a ride, being completely taken advantage of, and it's like you don't even know how to be angry anymore with this. You don't know how to just continue in this path. It feels like instead of being angry, I feel like you're kind of to the point of being in shock. And it feels like you just want to give up. It feels like you were made to depend on incredibly undependable people. And undependable? Yeah, undependable people. And it was this endless cycle and not changing. Feels like there's a major part of deception and major secrets that were coming into play in dealing with what needs and necessities were in order with them. I feel like you're somebody who has a major drive and ambition initially, and you're somebody who really works hard for their comfort, their wealth, their money, their lifestyle. And it feels like these people are kind of feeding off of that. So what I'm seeing in here is, first off, your empire is not going to dwindle. I do see that you are going to be cutting people off. You have to. You can't suffer along with this anymore. And I see that they're not going to go without some sort of fight. The thing is, you're not even fighting. There's no more fight in you. Again, you've given up, which also means that you've given up the fight. So when I say F around and find out, when you starve somebody who's looking for a confrontation, of the very confrontation that they're dying to have, you and them are left with a giant mess. But you are more than capable of picking up the pieces. I think that you had to look really deep, make a really very difficult commitment to yourself, come hell or high water. You're not only not going to give up, even though this looks like in confrontation and being an enabler of sorts to people, you are giving up. It looks like you are not only not giving up, you're not going to be the silent victim in this. I see that this is messy. I see that this is something that actually occurred very quickly in your world. But it's going to be messy. So, you're willing to deal with this. How do you get through it? There it is. Okay. This candle here is officially spent. Hazelnut cream. Oh my god. All right, so I want this one going because it's the one that's there. I don't know. Is this like a prerequisite as we get into our 30s to become completely obsessed with candles? What's the deal? Anyway, So how are you going to get through this? Because I think your biggest flex is not fighting and watching them completely lose their crap over it. It's almost like a sick pleasure. Am I wrong? All right, how are you going to get through this? You're going to take an entirely new path, completely unknown to whoever was involved in your situation. And I think that is kind of new territory for you. Check out the mini reads, because this talks about getting really agitated that things aren't happening as fast as you'd like. And also it involves what seems to be a challenge in relationships, which this also might be talking about. Okay, it's time for contemplation and deciding what it is that you want to defend, what you want to pursue. We also have a lot of yellow in this, so going with the solar plexus chakra, this is going to be a lot, and I mean a lot, of willpower, mindfulness, self-control. You have to find out what you truly believe in, or what has been programmed into you. Dismantle that programming and find out what your true beliefs are about you, your path, your life, your journey, what you want in relationships. However this reading is resonating, because if this is relationships, then you're breaking away from a lot of codependency. If this is business related, you're breaking away from a lot of terrible business. So I see this incredibly new start that's coming in that's going to take time to grow. We have the Knight of Pentacles here. This is slow and steady. It's consistent. It's going to take constant care and checking. The thing is, you won't be able to uproot this, so you have to be very clear with what it is that you are trying to fulfill, because what you put into it is going to be the payoff. How you care for this is going to determine the payoff, but with how self-controlled, centered, and healing you are, and getting away from undependable creatures in your life, I see that this is going to have a really not only high risk but immensely high reward for you. I think that this is also something that is really beneficial on the philosophical front, because this is showing you what dedication and perseverance looks like in the payoff. There was something about what you had to cut away that really held off any sort of payoff. It always was like a procrastination, a putting off till later time. There was lots of plans, but really no action, and a lot of ends that didn't really meet up. And it's like something was initially on a figurative level bleeding out somewhere, resources bleeding out somewhere, and personal expenses bleeding out somewhere, and not really knowing where it's going. So I see that that was the lack of structure, and now it's something where you're going to have a hawk's eye view in this. No, I wasn't looking at cards with that. I was remembering the cards, and I started going into channeled message, because, well, that happens in these. Okay. Karmic lesson and karmic, avoiding the karmic lesson. So this is talking about not letting new plans come in from old people from the past that you have already had relations with in regard to whatever the relationship or the business is. This is springing off in an entirely new direction, and it seems almost like so much thoughtlessness in this, like you are naive, this is not going to work. There's a lot of self-doubt that's going into this, which you're not naive. You really don't need to have self-doubt. This is spontaneous redirection in your life. This might as well be the watered-down version of the Tower card. So that level of spontaneity is really going to, I think, take a weird stress off of you. And this is dealing with the energy of the devil that we were talking about in the very beginning of this. And also, I think, in the mini reads. Maybe it was both, but it at least was in the mini reads. I think that you're going to start to see the actual facts around whatever this devil-like energy was. Oy. Do I look tired? I don't know. I'm not trying to brag, not trying to make you jealous, but I think I got 3 hours of sleep last night. Yeah. Bragging rights. I'm functioning. Oh my goodness. I love when I'm recording and I get a message in regard to setting up another session. Yeah. So my hours have been extended, days and hourly. So go ahead and ask questions about that. Okay. These were... What do you have to expect now? The be true to you, the forgiveness, and the adult children. You're not going to make the headway that you want holding grudges against the people who have shorthanded you. I think I needed to hear that particular line maybe as much as you did. There's people that you need to forgive who did not grow up either mentally or emotionally. I feel like there's a major stagnance there. The forgiveness that you feel for the advantage that they try to take of you, wherever that can happen in time, is going to relieve you of that pain. So what I'm seeing here is the windfall after the forgiveness. And I think that's the Band-Aid that not a lot of people are going to want to rip off, because that's going to have to, like, how do we look at forgiveness? We always think that it has to mean that we have to be buddy-buddy and have our lunch dates with this particular person that, honestly, we would rather chew glass. I'm just going to put it out there. No. It's relieving yourself of that situation that you've held on to for so long and why you've held on to it for so long, and how that's infused itself into all aspects of your life, either consciously or subconsciously, and that has to stop now. So whether or not you actually actively voice out the forgiveness to whoever the appropriate parties are, or whether or not you just forgive them in your heart, because that's all you have to do sometimes, this is going to relieve you. So you are leaving it behind. The thing is, there's moving on, the end of an era. You have the support coming in, and the relationships that you have that are going to come through as a result are going to be, first off, vastly different, incredibly constructive, and it's very selective with what you are going to allow around you, so there's really no excuse for you to relive that situation. So this is saying you have to have an entirely new story to tell yourself. The story that used to be told, was it of one of pain, of fear, of agony? Was it of every disservice towards you? That sucks, and it really does. But how can you look at that now and see all the ways of which this has affected you? Sometimes when we are in our ego, when we are not quite ready to forgive, we tell ourselves that it's what made us strong, which, yes, you're right, it did make you strong. But also, we use it as a way to project into potential connections in our lives and call it recognizing a pattern or behavior. Sometimes we get it to the detriment of actually avoiding the very relationships and situations that are going to allow us to grow in a positive light. So see how those situations may have affected your lifestyle and decision making, and what you can do to release that, so that you can tell a story of not only perseverance but of compromise and compatibility and follow through. The story that you tell yourself and about yourself is going to be a very impactful one. So this is saying, what are you willing to digest? What are you going to ingest? And how can you change this in your favor? I'm being pulled to, I think it's the Work Your Light Oracle. I don't know if I'm ever going to get these decks correct. I think it's by Rebecca Campbell. If you knew that you would be supported, what would you do? If you knew that Spirit was your bodyguard in this, what would you say? How would you act? What is your soul calling you to do? And this is dealing with self-worth again. If you took off the issues with self-worth, self-deprecation, I just want to go with, how can you reparent yourself with the nurturing aspect, which often goes to the mother, but again, not everybody has a mother, so we're going to go with the divine nurturer. How can you reparent yourself in the compassion form? And when you love yourself and nurture yourself and take care of yourself without criticizing yourself so harshly, What is your light and soul calling and telling you to do? Where is it telling you to go? How does that make you feel in your body? If this is making you feel agitation, I want you to really look and see where you're feeling this in your body. If you're feeling excitement, whatever end of the spectrum of emotions or range of emotions you could be feeling, I really want you to look and see where you are feeling this in your body, because this can actually tell a tale of where you either need growth or that you need to let go, and also where the potential is and where the fuel's going to be. So after you have let go of a few things, dodged some others, realized a few other things, what is the likely result of this having done the work? All right, so I'm going to shuffle these in. This is the daily guidance from your angels. I've had this deck for, oh my God, 5-6 years, this particular deck. Oh my God. All right, so what is this going to lead you to? To learning how to listen. Quiet your mind, beloved one, and listen to the gentle assurance that everything is being thrown everywhere. I can do this. I can do this. Okay, I have to finish reading this and then I'll show you the others. That everything has been taken care of. Stay in quiet in a receptive state without worrying about the exact nature of your desired manifestation. Quiet the mind and the body hears us quickly and clearly. This is our request to you. Listen. Then we have the Be Honest with Yourself, Creative Project, Entrepreneur, Wedding, Daydream, Blessing in Disguise, Shower of Abundance. You may have some really hard truths about yourself because, believe it or not, you in human form are very faulted. Wouldn't you know it? You, me, the person who you think is an angel, yeah, they're faulted. So this is saying, can you give yourself the grace of being human and be honest with yourself and see these hardships that you may or may not have allowed, or in some cases, I'm not saying everybody, and I'm not going along with every storyline on this one, may have accidentally instigated. How could they have been blessings in disguise for yourself? Because I feel like this is projecting you to strike out on your own and yet be a collaborative piece. So this is saying holding your own ground, being able to connect and creatively work with others, and also talking about commitments in either these professional relationships or personal relationships. But this wedding one, so this is unions that are coming into play. These are ones based off of respect and significant commitment. These can be business or personal, it doesn't matter. But it's a testament and faith in love's power. Continually breathe. Continually breathe life into that faith and love, dearest one. How you show up for these opportunities and these relationships in your life, and how you have struggled in the past to get to this point. This is not anything that is unnoticed. A lot of the hardships that you endured are going to be used to your advantage moving forward. The pains are showing up as blessings in disguise, whether it's a pillar of strength or being able to problem solve or being able to call something out and witness it. Your keen eye is going to be opening you up to major doors and windows of abundance, whether it's monetary, material, personal abundance, flow. Yeah. It's really going to be something that really works in your favor. And it does come along as a sixth sense, which you've even seen in cards is a primary first sense. Alrighty, final cards from Healing with the Angels. What do you want to tell the person viewing this? New love, manifestation, spiritual growth, support, and intention. So I'm seeing this as, what do you want to bring in? Know that it's supported. Know that this is going to be a new passion of yours. And know that this is undoubtedly going to cause you to grow. You, my dear, are going through healing. This healing is going to cause even more growth and opportunities for you. But it's also going to involve the forgiveness that we talked about earlier. So what does that look like for you? Obviously, the choice is up to you. That's been the Daily Tarot and Oracle, the Daily Insight on Life in Love for February 9th, 2022, also being timeless. Again, wherever you are catching it in time, this isn't something worth fighting. All right, so the reading is know when not to fight. Know when to stand up. Okay, so wherever you pull this in time, it might be relevant for you. Sorry. If you have questions about booking a private session, because your individual storyline will always be more detailed, in-depth, and intense, go ahead and find me on the social platforms and send me a DM, or you can go to my professional Facebook page, or you can go to the provided email address and send me a message. Whatever the case, see what might be right for you, and until next time, stay safe, have fun, and just know that you're greatly loved and appreciated. Bye for now. Isn't it crazy how you get what you want and you do all of this work for it? You either come a long distance or you go a long time. There is a big gap in the space-timeness of this, that you finally do get what you have been after, and it's falling into place. And it seems like this new reality causes what seems to be a bit of restlessness, stress, anxiety, even a sense of doom in some aspects. I know that this can be a reality of getting what you want, because the reality of getting what you want is different than the idealizing of what it is that you want. So, with what you're probably going through, I don't want you to look at this as a failure. There is a major sense of repression that is going on with you. I feel like this is, it's definitely devilish kind of energy. I don't want to actually go towards Capricorn energy on this. I don't really think it's isolated to that type of person. This is a lot of controlled, terrified, repressed energy that I think that you embody that is coming out now. I think that it's taking a lot of strength to handle this and deal with this. I don't see this as a failure at all. I see that this is something that you have to kind of wade your way through. I do see the love being restored in whatever the situation is. Even if it's excitement, I see it being restored. Whatever you feel that you have lost is going to be uncovered. It's very important that you stay away from negativity and that you allow yourself to move on in this situation. It's not necessarily from the situation, but you move on within the situation. It's going to be a lot of work on yourself, on whatever this connection is. It's very, I don't know, I guess I kind of want to say practical with this. But we have a lot of feelings of ungrounded, unstructured energy. It feels like it's all over the place. You're closing off a really painful cycle in your life, and you're not holding anything back. But honestly, the reason why this is saying just hold on is because you honestly have no more fight left in you with everything that's been repressed. It's like the end of a war for you. So I see that this is judgment time. I see that this is going to be something to celebrate. You will have a cheering team on the other side of this. You will be able to get through the problem. And I see that you are very protected, cared for, and nurtured, and that this is going to be a very caring and enveloping energy. It feels beautiful, nurturing, motherly, and very compassionate. Well, I think one of the biggest lessons here was really how are you able to let go? How are you able to let go of resentment, loss, whatever the tragedy would happen to be? Whether it was something that was the short end of the stick towards you, or maybe this is long-term exposure, but how willing are you to move on? I see that there was no quick solution and answer in your scenario. I do feel like you kind of gave up. You weren't going to do any more work, and I honestly feel like part of you gave up. And it's sad to be in a place like that, but also I don't know how dedicated the giving up was. It was more like an attempt to kind of challenge life to step up or show up for you. And what I'm seeing in here is the constant state of disappointment with waiting for this to show up in your life. So I think the stagnance got so overwhelming with you, and the disappointment with others became so overwhelming. You had no other choice but to kind of learn how to survive this on your own. You may have had people around you who were willing to help, but I really don't feel like you were willing to rely on anybody again. That sucks. And it feels like you are hopeless, left, like it didn't even matter. That's kind of what's giving me this vibe right here, this bad boy. But then we have the Eight of Pentacles. And what I love about this is it's showing me your perseverant spirit. While you would love to tell yourself that you give up, you quit, your spirit, your higher self, your subconscious is like, we're in this to win this. We're not going to lose this game. So what I'm seeing is the disappointment leading to a fierce sense of independence, probably to a point of detriment at this point. I feel like you worked really hard at becoming unbreakable and pushing through this, trying to avoid disaster and complete dissolve in your life. I feel like you are starting to get your personality back, yourself back, and I think that in finding what this new essence of yourself is, you are truly learning what it means to finally let go of the past pains, hang-ups. I hope that made sense. Well, I see the freak out in you learning how to say no. I see that this is bringing about a sense of, I think, relief. It feels like there is a major fear around saying no. It's a fear of consequence, a fear of angering people. But I also see that you are not going to be holding yourself back for any one of these problems. You're escaping this need to be a people pleaser, and there's a lot that you are, I feel like, looking to avoid in this. So what I'm looking at here, major pressure on you, and I guess being useful to anybody at their whim, but also I see a major challenge of not necessarily authority, but whoever has the sense of placement in your life. I feel like the roles have switched. I feel like you've caused shock to somebody who's so used to getting their way, and I see that this is really starting to build your particular confidence. I see not only is it the confidence that's paying off, you're getting the results that are going to actually make you happy for yourself, with yourself, not at the expense of anyone else, but it's a point of, I think, really building up what seems to be a standard for yourself and having the assertiveness to not have somebody challenge it so much. I feel like whoever this is causing an aversion with or an issue, struggle with, I think that they're going to roll back whatever their either annoyances or confrontational attitude is, because you're not backing down in here. I feel like the justice in reverse is really talking about how you are avoiding a sense of death every time you have to bow down to somebody who really is not the person you want to put your trust in. The lack of leadership, the lack of follow through. I see that you are avoiding not only disappointment, but also a sense of entrapment, like you can't get away from it. I see that you are going to be really mindful about what you're going to feed your energy into, what you're going to put your trust into moving forward. New investments all around for you. You're not going to waste your energies anymore, and you're not going to waste your confidence. Major issues with self-worth, expectations, never quite being satisfied, or never quite feeling like you are up to standard. And I see that this is insurmountable problems. It's leading you to drown. You're in over your head. You have spread yourself so thin and for not enough. It's the breaking point. This break needed to happen. It needed to shake you up. And I know that this is something that has really plagued you emotionally. It feels like the whole world is kind of cruel and out to get you. I completely understand that. It doesn't mean that it's what's really happening. It's just when you're in that place, it can feel like the most vicious and personal attack. What I'm seeing here is after that breaking point, it looks like you shake free of that identity and take a chance on something new. This is going to be a time of discipline, hopefulness, a long journey ahead, knowing that it's not going to be instant gratification, but a major payoff on this journey. We have the Five of Swords in reverse. It's not about who can defeat who. It's a matter of coming to an understanding. And I see Two of Cups energy all around this. So what I love about this is Divine Feminine is having what seems to be a fresh start based off of who they're in this connection with, whatever this union is coming to be. It is allowing the space for the Divine Feminine to have a restart, which means that Divine Feminine probably feels like a lot of things are being stopped in their place. They have to take a step back. They're being forced to take a step back and really see what their choices and options are. What do they really want to do in regard for their life, for themselves, for whatever this future is, and not have it be only the benefit of others. I really feel like Two of Cups energy has taken away this almost selfish giving that has become the Divine Feminine. Make them come centered and balanced. See what it is that they truly want and kind of push them to go after it. This could be an internal union with you, or this might be somebody who is Two of Cups energy with you in your life. But it's going to be almost anticlimactic. It's going to be so practical. It's going to be so... It's earth energy all around. But this is going to be for the Divine Feminine's best interest. Feeling like you lost. You lost the chance. You lost the situation, the relationship, the job, the love. You feel like you lost. You're at a loss. It feels like you made the wrong decision and you are giving yourself the worst trouble for that. So what I'm seeing in here is it just feels like a major sense of failure. It doesn't mean that you actually have a sense of failure. It doesn't mean that you actually failed. You're down in the dumps. And I think that you are obsessing about it. Naturally, I think that you're this wonderful person. You are making a nasty habit of beating yourself up for things that you don't need to beat yourself up for. This feels like a really big matter of self-abuse, but nobody sees this about you, do they? One of the main hardships right now is overwhelming sense of loneliness, feeling of failure, and also like you have no control over things coming to a standing halt. A major issue with isolation right now. You are gathering whatever mental strength that you have just to get through this bout of lowness. I mean, how else can you look at it? If there's nothing else that you can do, you're just gathering the mental strength to get through this. You don't have to do anything else. I don't recommend throwing yourself into a distraction. It's not going to help you right now. The problem will be waiting on the other side of this. Allow yourself to just look for mental strength anywhere. Use your resources. What seems like a loss is actually still very much at a very strong beginning. I want to look into why this feels like such a loss when it promises this incredible beginning. Alrighty. What's the deal? This is the hard work. This is the work on yourself that you have to do. You have got to face the biggest monster, which is for you, yourself. I feel like this is coming from a place of lack of momentum, a lack of identity even. You want this promising life, but you have to release something about yourself in order to get it. This is probably going to be a two-parter right here. This is what we're looking at. Okay, I want to shuffle these back in. You have to release something in order to get that 10 of Cups. You have to release the badgering that you do to yourself, this self-abuse form, whatever it is. All right, so that's what you need to let go of. What do you need to watch out for aside from the self-abuse? Okay, so we have the 4 of Pentacles. What you need to look out for. Repeating the same cycle with your life with something that seems charming in a very familiar way. There's something that shows up as, I think, almost every idealism that you want. And this is telling you to be careful, because while it seems as though there's light at the end of the tunnel and that you've risen above the problem, there's a sense of obsession and addiction that is going into this cycle. There might be something that you need to uncover about yourself. So this is forcing yourself to fit in with people who you no longer connect with, forcing yourself into familiar and uncomfortable scenarios. You have to make a decision. Are you going to evolve? Are you going to live this evolvement? Or are you going to go back into old ideals and familiar situations? Because while it's initially comforting, it's not going to give you the change and the growth that you want. This is saying that we need to look at balance being restored in you. What is the meaning of a train for you? I don't know if you can hear it in the background. You need to reparent yourself with the feminine energy, the unconditional mother. Now, not everybody has a mother, so I'm going to say the unconditional nurturer. So, whoever this is for you, you need to reparent with that style, because this is what's preventing you from coming into full bloom with yourself and with your ambition, with the relationships, drive, and career. What's this? We have very welcoming, playful energy that is coming back into you as well. Finding that nurturing, caregiving, and that playfulness is what's going to really take the anxiety and the stress off of your chest so that you can actually fulfill this new start. I know that you're afraid of healing and what that means, but there's nothing left for you in these past situations. There's nothing more than ghost of familiarity and very one-sided relationships where you are constantly the server. It's time to let those go. I know that you're afraid to move on, but it's time for you to leave.